What if I told you that the more you try to defend yourself from toxic people, the more you become their prisoner? Sounds crazy, right? But it's real. Most people are stuck in an invisible cycle. Someone provokes you, you react, and just like that, you've lost control, not only of the situation but of your own mind. But the Stoics knew something that almost no one teaches today. Real power isn't in winning the argument. It's in not needing to fight it. This video isn't just another list of tips. It's a practical map to help you become untouchable. In the next few minutes, you'll learn 8 Stoic strategies that will shield your mind from criticism, manipulation, and emotional traps. And no, this doesn't require coldness. It requires wisdom. Ancient wisdom. The kind Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca used during times of war, and that you can use today in everyday chaos. If you're tired of over-explaining yourself, blowing up over little things, or regretting how you lost your calm, stay with me until the end. You'll discover how to control anger, stay calm under pressure, ignore insults, and turn every conflict into personal growth. And if you believe you deserve more inner peace and mental strength, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and hit that subscribe button so we can keep growing together on the Stoic path. Before any reaction, the Stoic observes, he knows that toxicity coming from someone else is usually not a reflection of the one receiving it, but rather of the unresolved pain of the one who transmits it. When someone lashes out with harsh words or negative attitudes, they're often revealing inner conflict, a hidden wound. This is the first point of clarity. Don't take on what was born from the other person's emotional battlefield. Stoic philosophy calls this perception control, a vital filter for inner peace. Instead of absorbing someone else's poison, the Stoic identifies its source. He asks himself, what is this person projecting? This mindset keeps emotions in check, even in tense situations. Imagine a colleague constantly criticizing your work. Rather than reacting, you realize it's not about you, it's about his frustration or fear. This level of awareness is a kind of mental strength that few develop, but it completely shifts how we deal with anger and insults. Toxicity often disguises itself as constructive criticism or passive-aggressive jokes. A seemingly harmless comment might actually aim to destabilize you. The Stoic detects that before allowing the ego to react. Epictetus said, "It's not events that disturb us, but the interpretation we give them." In other words, change your lens, and you change the impact. That's emotional control in practice. But beware. Recognizing toxicity is not the same as ignoring or tolerating abuse. The Stoic observes with clarity, but acts with wisdom. He chooses where to invest his emotional energy. Silence, strategic withdrawal, or a firm no are valid responses, all without mirroring the offender. This ability to respond without being shaken is a real-life demonstration of self-discipline and ancient wisdom. In many cases, toxic people unconsciously test boundaries. If you seem affected, they intensify. But when they face someone who remains calm like nothing happened, they lose their grip. That's the power of mastering your mind. Nothing gets in without your permission. Want to stay calm under pressure? Train your perception and drop the judgment. Cultivate emotional intelligence to separate what's yours from what belongs to the other. Now let me ask you, have you ever found yourself reacting without thinking to someone toxic? If so, don't blame yourself, but know this, there's a much more effective way to respond. And it all begins with the insight we just covered. In the next point, we'll dive into why trying to control others is the root of so much suffering, and how shifting that mindset can truly set you free. Stoic philosophy reminds us of something both powerful and liberating. You don't control what others think, feel, or do. Epictetus said that freedom begins when we accept we only control our own choices and judgments. This means other people's toxicity doesn't have to dictate the course of your day. The key is knowing what depends on you and releasing what doesn't. That's the first step toward staying calm in any environment. Many people live trying to fix others. If I explain, they'll understand it. If I'm more patient, they'll change. But the Stoic knows that's an illusion. You can offer wisdom, but you can't force someone to accept it. Expecting a toxic person to change so you can feel peace is a trap. Your peace must be rooted inside you, not in the actions of others. This awareness is the beginning of true mind mastery. Picture a situation where someone constantly treats you rudely. The instinct is to confront or demand immediate change. But what if instead you observed calmly, took a breath and reminded yourself, I don't control this person, but I do choose how to respond. That space between stimulus and response is the Stoics' training ground. It's where you build mental strength, self-control, and the wisdom to stay grounded. When you stop trying to control the external world, a lightness begins to emerge. The ego, which demands that everything goes your way, starts to lose its grip. Acceptance isn't passivity, it's strategy. You begin to invest your energy where it actually produces growth, in your own self-improvement. That's inner peace. It's learning how to stay calm even when everything around you seems to demand an impulsive reaction. This principle transforms how we deal with relationships, work environments, and even social media. If someone provokes you online, you can choose to engage or walk away in silence. If a family member constantly criticizes you, you can listen without absorbing it. The power lies in the mental filter you build, a filter trained to protect your serenity. It's not about being cold, but about being firm in what you allow inside. And here begins a subtle yet life-changing shift. You stop reacting to everything and start responding only to what truly deserves your attention. It's like training your mind to be unshakable amidst chaos. In the next topic, we'll go deeper into emotional control and why mastering your emotions doesn't mean repressing them, but rather freeing yourself. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them, it means redirecting them wisely. Stoic philosophy doesn't teach you to bottle up your feelings, but to consciously choose what you do with them. Emotions are natural visitors to the human soul. Each one has something to teach you. The secret is to feel them without letting them drive your actions. A Stoic feels everything, but never drowns in any of it. When you suppress your emotions, you're just pushing them down until they eventually explode. But when you observe without attaching, clarity begins to form. Imagine someone feeling angry after being treated unfairly. Suppressing that anger leads to bitterness, but using that emotion as fuel for growth and strength is a high-level choice. Marcus Aurelius did exactly that. He turned adversity into virtue, pain into wisdom. Emotional mastery is like an invisible shield. It doesn't stop the blows, but it prevents them from wounding you deeply. When you develop this shield, people's words lose their power to disrupt your peace. You can hear something offensive and still maintain a calm tone, upright posture, and a clear mind. That's what staying calm under pressure looks like. It's real resilience training in action. And this practice is applicable in everyday life. A simple example, when receiving criticism, instead of reacting impulsively, pause and evaluate. Is there something useful in it? If yes, learn. If not, discard it. That's emotional control in action. It's you telling your mind, I'm in command here. It's a fundamental step for anyone seeking self-improvement and wanting to break the automatic cycle of reactivity. Those who master their emotions also master time. Anger and anxiety make time feel shorter, while calm stretches time and allows for wise responses. That's why Stoic philosophy teaches us to cultivate patience as a form of strength. Being patient isn't being slow, it's being intentional, and that changes everything. Because words spoken from control are worth more than 1,000 spoken under pressure. But mastering emotions doesn't mean silencing your voice. It simply means choosing the right time and way to act, with honor, purpose, and dignity. In the next point, we'll explore one of the most powerful Stoic tools, silence. And you'll understand why it's not the absence of action, but the highest form of response a wise person can offer. In Stoic philosophy, silence isn't cowardice, it's strategy. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And that says it all. When someone tries to provoke you and you respond with serenity, you break the cycle that fuels toxicity. Toxic people live off reaction, like vampires feeding off your energy. If you don't react, you cut off their supply, and they lose control. Responding with silence doesn't mean being passive, it means being selective. It's a way of showing that your peace matters more than winning an argument. When someone attacks, the instinct is to retaliate. But the Stoic knows that this urge comes from a bruised ego, not from mature reason. Choosing silence is like wielding an invisible shield. You avoid unnecessary stress and gain emotional advantage. There's immense power in choosing to remain quiet. It's like saying, "I won't stoop to your level." This can be applied to family conflicts, toxic work environments, or heated online exchanges. Silence also disarms. It creates discomfort in those who expected to control you through words. When you offer no resistance, they lose the footing. That's mind mastery and ancient wisdom applied to the modern world. It's important to understand that silence must come from discernment, not avoidance. It doesn't mean backing away from everything, but choosing what's truly worth your energy. For example, a snide comment in a meeting. Breathe, hold your calm gaze, and move on. A public provocation. Keep your posture and let your silence echo. Sometimes the loudest message you can send is the one you never speak. This non-reactive response is a form of Stoic training. You're teaching your brain that not every provocation deserves your voice. Over time, this becomes absolute self-control. When silence becomes habit, your mind gains space to reflect before acting. And that's how you become someone who responds with wisdom, always prioritizing inner peace. And here's something deeper. Silence reveals who you are inside. It frames your emotional strength. While many speak to protect themselves, the Stoic remains silent to preserve his essence. And in the next topic, we'll discover a practical technique that can turn automatic reactions into conscious responses, all in just 5 seconds. The Stoic knows that between impulse and action lies a small space, and that's where freedom lives. The 5-second pause technique isn't just a mental trick, it's a ritual of power. When someone provokes you, take a deep breath, count to 5, and ask yourself, will this reaction serve my peace or just my ego? Those 5 seconds can save you 5 hours of regret. It's simple, but incredibly effective. This small ritual can be used in any situation. Traffic, a harsh message, a sudden criticism, or a face-to-face insult. The pause interrupts the automatic reaction cycle. Your brain gains time to reason, and your response shifts from defensive to strategic. That's emotional intelligence in practice, and also a powerful resilience training tool for anyone who wants to become unshakable. The secret of this technique is repetition. The more you practice it, the more your brain learns it doesn't have to react immediately. It transforms your daily life. For example, before replying to a negative comment, pause. Before raising your voice in an argument, pause. That pause is not weakness, it's mental strength. You're choosing to rise above the moment. And that's ancient wisdom applied in a modern world. And here's the curious part. During those 5 seconds, you often realize it's not even worth responding. It's like the emotional dust settles and your vision clears. Stoic philosophy values exactly that. Mastery of perception. What felt urgent becomes irrelevant. What once triggered you now just passes through, like a breeze that can't shake you. Adopting this habit is like reprogramming your mind. You start to realize the world doesn't have to change for you to feel peace. Just your response to the world. That's discipline in essence, training your mind to obey reason, not impulse. Over time, this 5-second pause becomes an invisible shield that protects you from other people's negativity and from your own reactivity. But this practice only gains real power when you connect it to a greater purpose. Because if your life's mission is just to win arguments, you're still trapped by the ego. In the next topic, we'll explore how to elevate your mind beyond the dispute and why having a clear purpose keeps you from stepping into battles that aren't worth it. The Stoic doesn't live to win debates. He lives to honor values. When the mind is guided by a higher purpose, it doesn't get shaken by petty noise. Toxic people love creating conflict because they feed off reactions. But when you have clarity about your mission, their provocations lose power. The Stoic life philosophy teaches us that it's not worth getting our hands dirty in mud when we're focused on climbing the mountain. Think of the great Stoic minds. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire but didn't stoop to meaningless fights. He wrote to himself about discipline, duty, and integrity. When you know what you're building, a balanced family, a life project, an unshakable mind, you simply don't have time for senseless arguments. Your peace becomes non-negotiable, and your energy becomes selective. Instead of reacting to everything, The Stoic chooses his battles with emotional intelligence. He asks, does this bring me closer to who I want to be, or pull me away? That filter changes everything. If your goal is to become a model of inner balance, every provocation becomes a test of coherence. A practical example: when unfairly criticized at work, you breathe, assess, and respond with solutions, not resentment. That kind of posture inspires respect. Even those trying to destabilize you can feel that you have something untouchable: purpose. People with purpose don't beg for validation. They know where they're going, and that makes other people's toxicity seem small. That clarity of direction is what many call inner peace, and it only arises when your life stops being about proving something and starts being about living something bigger. Have you ever noticed that those who yell the most are often the ones who are least right? Exactly. The Stoic prefers to act with quiet coherence rather than loud arrogance. While the world tries to drag you into conflict, you walk with lightness because you carry something more valuable: meaning. And that meaning filters what enters and what stays out of your mind. It's like building an inner wall, solid, yet invisible. And there's more. When your purpose is strong, even your posture changes. And that's exactly what we'll explore in the next point. Because before you even open your mouth, your body has already said everything, and your body language might be the most powerful shield you have against any hidden attack. Before you say a single word, your body has already told your entire emotional story. Stoic philosophy understands that posture is an extension of mental control. Relaxed shoulders, steady gaze, and deep breathing communicate what words can't: presence. When you enter a room with that kind of energy, you command respect without raising your voice. That's real power. Silent influence without threat. People with inner battles often reveal them through their bodies: tense muscles, shallow breath, erratic gestures. But those who practice emotional control develop a body language that radiates balance. Picture this: someone unfairly criticizes you. Instead of yelling back, you stay upright, composed, and simply observe. That reaction disarms the attacker. They expected resistance, but instead found mind mastery. The calm gaze is a secret weapon, not a look of arrogance, but of groundedness. It shows you're not shaken. You're fully present and aware. This is a technique you can train. Before reacting, hold soft eye contact. Inhale through your nose. Exhale slowly through your mouth. That sends a message to your brain: we're safe. And it sends a message to others: you can't shake me easily. Breathing plays a vital role too. A Stoic breathes like someone who has time. Even under pressure, he shows there's no rush. This calmness translates into emotional leadership. People notice it. They feel it. It's the opposite of the ego that needs to win through volume. It's ancient wisdom manifesting in a modern posture, quiet strength that needs no explanation because it simply is. This principle also applies online. It may seem distant, but even in videos or live streams, your posture communicates your beliefs. A slow, steady tone of voice, composed gestures, and grounded energy show that you own your space. The audience feels this strength. And little by little, you become a reference point for peace in chaos. That's self-mastery being lived, not preached. And if the body is the shield, the battlefield is still the world. And in that world, there's a priceless secret. Even toxic encounters can become your training ground. In the next topic, you'll discover how to turn each confrontation into a chance to grow your mind and your soul. Every confrontation life throws at you is actually an invisible gym for inner growth. Stoic philosophy sees hardships as opportunities to shape character. Toxic people, as unpleasant as they may be, are tools to test and strengthen your virtues. Patience, courage, self-control, and compassion aren't developed on calm days. It's in the heat of conflict that the Stoic learns to stay composed and act with honor. Imagine facing someone who insists on humiliating or provoking you. An untrained mind sees it as an attack. A Stoic mind sees it as a test. You can train forgiveness even without an apology. You can train silence even under pressure. You can train humility even when you're right. That's more than emotional control. It's soul mastery. True strength isn't about defeating others, but mastering yourself. These moments demand a powerful question. How can I leave this situation better than I entered it? That answer will guide you. If you respond with anger, you reinforce anger. If you respond with clarity, you transform the situation. Toxic people are like weights in the gym. They strain you, exhaust you, but they make you stronger. Epictetus said we should be grateful for challenges, because without them, we'd never know our true capabilities. Turning adversity into wisdom is a rare skill, and a highly valuable one. While many run from conflict, the Stoic sees it as a training field, not to confront others, but to strengthen himself. A negative environment may be the perfect place to develop empathy by understanding that others act out of pain, or to train resilience by maintaining your peace when everything around you is in flames. And this practice extends through life. With every challenge handled consciously, you build a more solid mind. You begin to become the kind of person many admire, but few can be. Someone who doesn't flinch, who isn't swayed by praise, and who isn't destroyed by criticism. Someone guided by principle. That's the legacy of living by Stoic philosophy, turning chaos into your path. Now tell me, after everything you've heard, what's your choice? Will you keep reacting on autopilot, letting others control your emotions? Or will you take command of your mind like the Stoics did and turn every confrontation into inner strength? You already have the map, the tools, the clarity, but nothing changes until you apply it. And it starts with the next conversation, the next attack, the next sideways glance. It'll be different if you choose to be different. If you made it this far, it means there's something inside you that refuses to live under emotional chaos any longer. So why not take the next step? Drop a comment below. I choose Stoic calm, just so I know you're truly committed to this new version of yourself. And tell me, which of the 8 strategies do you need to apply most right now? If this video made sense to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with that person who's always dealing with difficult people. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because this is just the beginning. Here you'll keep learning how to master your emotions, strengthen your mind, and live with the calm of someone who knows exactly what they carry inside.